Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Christina and today I'm finally showing you my bookshelf. I only have one bookshelf, but it's progressed over this past year. So yeah, it's not gonna be very long. At least I try not to make it long, but your girl sometimes likes to talk. Once I start talking, it's kind of hard for me to stop. So yeah, I hope you guys are excited to see my bookshelf and the books that I have on them. I don't have a big collection like a lot of people out there, but that's fine. My bookshelf collection will get there. I really don't like to buy bulks in bulks, and when I do buy in bulks, I pretty much like to finish them off before I buy more. So yeah, that's probably why my bookshelf is not as massive as a lot of people's, but either way, I'm really excited to show you guys my little collection. So yeah, if you're interested in watching my little bookshelf tour, then I suggest you please keep on watching. Alright, so this is my top shelf. Here we have my Harry Potter collection that my husband bought me for my birthday a few years ago. It's very rare that I use these books to like actually physically read. I don't like to pull these out because it's so hard to put them back in, and also I don't want to crack the spine, so I want to keep it looking fresh and new. This is obviously the Sorting Hat. I got this for Christmas this year. My in-laws got it for me. They know that I love Harry Potter, so they bought him for me. He's a little creepy, but I still love him. Back here I have the another little sorting hat. I actually made this, and I made this for the Hogwarts house makeup inspired looks that I did. I'll leave that video down below if you guys are interested in watching that. So that is the headband that I was wearing on my head. I made it. And I also made this little guy right here too. This one was supposed to be the original hat to wear on my head for that video, but it was very little and it would have looked really like ridiculous on the headband. Like, can you see like the difference? Like, it's very small, but I kept him because I loved him. And I worked really hard on him. He's so cute. So I just leave him there on my desk along with the other Harry Potter things that I have going on here. Okay, so this right here is a little Harry Potter setup that I purchased from Walmart, and I got this on clearance. So as soon as I saw that it was like I don't even remember how much it was, but I know it was fairly inexpensive, I purchased it, and it came with little Harry and Ron. It came with everything that is showing, like the little figurines. It came with everything. The fat lady, she's supposed to be like right here. Let me show you guys that little hole right there, but as soon as I opened it and I like put it together, my son broke it off. So yeah, I just keep her right there because she's important. It has like little bookshelves that are movable. The little chairs, the couches and all that, like you can move them around. So we have Professor Snape right here. Behind here we have Hermione. Obviously we have Ron and Harry up there. Harry from the Sorcerer's Stones, and Ron, I'm gonna say from the Sorcerer's Stones because he looks very young right there. And then we have Hermione, and I'm gonna say this one is from the Deathly Hallows movie inspired because of what she's wearing. We do have Professor Snape in his usual attire. You can tell that's Professor Snape. And then obviously we have Malfoy down here, and I'm gonna say he's from the Chamber of Secrets. He looks a little bit more older than Ron does up there. So moving along, we have this Gryffindor inspired wand that I made. If you guys are interested in seeing a tutorial on how I made this, I can definitely do that for you. This was fairly inexpensive to make, and you pretty much probably have a lot of the stuff laying around in your home anyways. So yeah, I love that. And I made this because around Halloween time, me and my friends, we went on like a Halloween bar crawl and we dressed up each as the Hogwarts houses. So I have the Gryffindor tie right here, and obviously the Gryffindor colors, the crest, everything. So yeah, also if you can tell, like behind there, right there, is another wand that's like a plastic wand my brother got me like a long time ago for one of my birthdays. So moving along right here, you guys, these were actually like sock surprise popper things that my cousin got me for Christmas. So I kept these 3 because I loved them, and even though they're like trash, like they're literally like, because I already took the socks out of them, I still kept them because they're so cute, and who doesn't like the chibis, the Harry Potter chibis. And behind here, let me move this real quick so I can show you guys. Obviously I need to tape them so they can look more put together because they're a little ripped, but it's okay. So right here is a Harry Potter, you can't see really because of the glare. Oh, right there, the Harry Potter, it's a Harry Potter puzzle. I tried to attempt to do this once, you guys, and yeah, I gave up because all the colors, all the puzzle pieces look so similar that it was like really hard for me to figure out what piece went where, and I think it's like 1,000 pieces. So yeah, I gave up on trying to complete that puzzle. So we have my favorite series of all time, the Fallen series by Lauren Kate. I don't care what anybody says anymore about this series. I love this series, and I'm going to continue to talk about it as much as I want, as much as I can. And I still think a lot of people should give it a try, even if they can't just get past the first book. The rest of the series is awesome. So yeah, I have my favorite series right here. And then also I have another favorite series of mine, and this is Darkness Becomes Her by Kelly Keaton. This is another underrated series that I absolutely love. I definitely feel like a lot of people should try and get their hands on these books. They're really awesome, and they're like really short too. I don't feel like they're difficult reads. And they're really interesting and really good, and I freaking love them. Moving on to the next, I have the Lunar Chronicles by Melissa Myers series. I've already read Scarlet and Cress. I've already read Cinder and Scarlet. Sorry, I'm completely dumb. I have not read Cress yet, so I'm gonna currently read, or I will be picking that up soon. I don't know how soon, but I do want to definitely jump into that. My goal for this year is to finish all the series that I've started before I jump onto any other series. So that is top priority right there. So moving along, we have the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. I definitely need finale, but I'm waiting until May. I think May 5th or 7th, I don't remember, is whenever the paperback will be available. So since I have these 2 already in paperback, I want to get the paperback finale just to complete the set. Like I got a little OCD in me, and once I start collecting them in paperback, like I want to continue it in paperback. Or if I start collecting them in hardcover, I want to continue collecting them in hardcover. Moving on to the Hunger Games. So I still need Mockingjay. I've already read Hunger Games and Catching Fire, so I need to finish up with the Mockingjay. I love the movies, and I am really enjoying the books. So the next books I have here is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. I've already read this one, and I really enjoyed it. I kind of want to reread it because I feel like I kind of forgot a little bit about it. Like I remember what it's about, but I still feel like I'm forgetting it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I want to reread this one, and this is the second book to that, Hold Still. So yeah, I definitely want to pick that book back up, and you can tell it's very small, so I can probably get through it within like a day or 2. And then here we have To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I love this series as well. Oh my gosh, you guys, or this trilogy as well. I definitely want to reread these books soon because they were so cute, and I freaking love Peter Kavinsky and Laura Jean. Even though obviously they are the main characters, I just love them, and I can't get enough of them. I think they are like the perfect couple. Fight me if you disagree. But I love them together, okay? That's all I'm saying. So we're gonna move on to the second shelf. This is a candle that I got for Christmas from my boss. She gave this to me with like other little goodies, but I just keep it up here because I think it looks cute. So we have here the Girls of Paper and Fire books by Natasha Nyong. I don't know how to say her name, sorry. But I really enjoyed this book. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did because of the triggers that are in it, but after I got through all that, like it's still a really good read in my opinion. Like, I really enjoy it. I did listen to Girls of Storm and Shadow, but I was really not paying attention, so I want to reread and listen to the audio at the same time, just so that way I can like get a better understanding of the book. But to my understanding, I think this is supposed to be a trilogy, so let me know if that's true. The next book we have on here is Straight On Till Morning. I just finished reading this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and you guys will see my wrap up on this book for April. It's a March wrap up, but you'll see it in April. Jesus, can I talk? No, obviously I can never talk. But anyways, I liked it, and you guys will get my full thoughts and opinion. Okay, moving on to this one. This is James Patterson, Crazy House. I believe this is a series, but I just don't know how many books are in this series. I started reading it, but then I put it down. It wasn't because it was bad or anything. I just wanted to pick something else up. So I definitely want to start this because it was already starting off really good. So if you've already read this book before, let me know if you liked it. So the next one we have is Six of Crows. I wanted to read this book last year, and I started it, but then I just didn't pick it back up. I don't think I was mentally ready to read this like I wanted to, and I definitely want to read this because a lot of people talk about it, and it just seems very interesting anyways. And I've always seen this book at Barnes & Noble's, and I've always loved the cover of it, but for some reason I just never picked it up. And now that I have it, I definitely want to put it on the most anticipated reads for 2020. So Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo is one of the books that I definitely want to read. The next one we have here, I've already read. It's Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I really enjoyed this book. I felt like I connected with the characters and the story, and I did a wrap up on it as well because it's been a while since I've read this book. I really enjoyed it though. So yeah, moving on, we have Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know about this book and probably have read it. I have not yet. I do want to read this book also sometime this year before the year is over. My goal is also to read authors that get talked about a lot, and Cassandra Clare is one of them. Then we have James Patterson, Cradle and Awe. I wanted to pick this book for a very long time. I remember seeing when it first came out. It's caught my attention so much, but I just never picked it up because I was always picking up other books, and I would always tell myself I'll get it next time, or I'll get it next time. So I actually saw this at Half Price Books, and it was fairly inexpensive, so I went ahead and picked it up because why not? Teeth and All by Adeline Grace, I believe that's her name. I'm so dumb. It's All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I'm currently reading this book, but I'm gonna put it on hold because I want to read this for the Hogwarts. I want to read it for the Magical Readathon that's happening next month, and this is like one of the only books other than Straight On Till Morning that I have that's based out of like Sea or the Coast or whatever. So I'm gonna save this for one of the prompts on that. Even though I've started it, I haven't finished it. So this book right here, Brown Girl Ghosted. This I picked up from the North Texas Teen Book Festival here in Irving. I picked this up. It looked interesting to me. The cover was really pretty, so that's why I picked it up. I don't know much about it, so I can't really give you guys an idea of it. And it's by Minty Doss. The next book we have here is The Last Magicians. I want to read this book. I picked it up last year, and I thought I was going to start it. I did actually start a little bit of it, but then I just kind of like DNF'd it. Not because it was bad, because I just wasn't really in the mood to read something like this. So I definitely want to pick this back up and start reading it again. Once in Future. I read this last year also for the Reading Rush Readathon, and oh my gosh, you guys, I really enjoyed this book. It's like a King Arthur retelling. You guys, this book was so amazing. Like, I can't wait for the next one to come out, and I think the next one comes out next month, and I'm ready for it. The next books we have here is Crown of Feathers and Heart of Flame. So I believe this is going to be a trilogy. I've already read Crown of Feathers, but I'm currently rereading it because I want to reread it before I read this one. Yeah, the reread is so much amazing, so much more amazing than it was the first time around. I don't know, like, I am so in love with these characters. You guys, like, if you haven't read this book, you definitely need to read this book, The Crown of Feathers by Nikki Paul Prieto. I don't know if I ever say her name right. That's just how I'm saying it, but I don't know if that's right. She did an amazing job writing Crown of Feathers. I can't say that for Heart of Flames because I have not read it yet, but Crown of Feathers, you guys, I could not put it down once I got into it. We are moving on to With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, I believe that's her name. This one was also a really good book. I really enjoyed it. I loved the character in this book. I feel like I could totally relate to her because I was a teen mom myself, and I just overall thought it was just a sweet and empowering book about single mothers and chasing dreams. Like, just because you're a mom doesn't mean your dreams have to stop there. So the next one we're moving on to is Alice Adventures in Wonderland. I have not read this book. I only bought it because I loved how the cover looked. Like, that's the only reason why I purchased this book, was because of the cover. And I also got this for like $7 at Barnes & Nobles. So that's a steal. So yeah, the next one is The Astonishing Color of After. You guys, this book it blew me away. And I know I'm saying that a lot about a lot of these books, but I have really read a bunch of good ones. And yeah, that one was really like, it took me all in the feels, you guys. Even just talking about it now makes me a little bit emotional. So the next one we have here is 5 Feet Apart. I read this book last year, obviously, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was super cute. I love the little love story, their love connection, how they fell in love with one another. Like, I love that whole thing. I did watch the movie, and I will say the movie kind of disappointed me, but sometimes it happens that way. So 5 Feet Apart was definitely a good book that I read last year. Under the Mesquite. This is going to be a current read for me, or a new read for me. I will be reading this pretty soon because I am reading this for another collaboration that I will be doing. So I can't wait to read it and talk about it. The Hate You Give. You guys, by Angie Thomas. This book literally opened up my eyes a little bit more. Obviously, we hear about a lot of racism. I've never experienced anything of it, and maybe I have, but never like realized it or took it to heart. I don't know, but just reading this book opened my eyes up a little bit more as to how people of color see things differently than, other people. And I don't want to offend anybody on here, so that's why, I'm just gonna keep it at that. This one was a very life-changing book for me. The movie was very life-changing as well, but the book especially was very life-changing. So this book by Angie Thomas, I will forever hold in my heart, and I can't wait to read her other book, but just this one in general, like, really, like, blew me away. The next book I have is A Darker Shade of Magic by B.E. Schwabs. I haven't read that yet. I can't wait to read it. I picked this up around Christmas time or after Christmas, and yeah, I'm really excited to hop onto that. Ignore this paper up here. This is for the Magical Readathon. It's like the prompts that I need, so we're gonna ignore that. I have that up there because I need to pick out the books, all the other books that I need for that readathon. This one right here is A Very Large Expanse of the Sea by Tahira Mafi. I haven't read this book, but I feel like, I haven't read this book, but I hear that it's pretty much kind of like The Hate You Give. It's around the same spectrum, dealing with what people of color, people of certain religion, deal with on a day-to-day basis, from what privileged people deal with, is what I'm gonna say. So yeah, The Crow Prince by Holly Black. I'm pretty sure everybody knows about this series. It gets talked about a lot. It's a trilogy, I believe, right? It's a trilogy? I think it is. Everybody talks about this book and this author. So this is one of the other authors that I want to read because she's well known. So that's why I want to read said book. So here we have these books right here. I have no idea. No, I don't know nothing about these. These are books that I got from my job. You guys may know I was working at a nursing home. Some of you may not know. But yes, they did like a book, a wheels, book on wheels, something like that. Little event where residents or employees or residents' family members can go check out the books that they had there and take any or as much as they wanted. And these right here I picked up along with like a few right here, you can tell. They kind of reminded me, I read like a few of the synopses on some of them, and they reminded me a lot of like Hallmark movies. I know a lot of people don't really like that type of book, but I really do, especially like around the holidays. Like just a little light reading, a little cliched love, you know, stuff like that. I'm all for. So we're gonna move on over here. Candle right here. My cousin-in-law bought this for me. He went to Vegas and picked this up for me. It smells really good. I have not yet burned it, and I probably won't ever burn it because it's like a display for me. So here we have To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This was one of my favorite all-time books reading in school, so I had to get a physical copy for myself, and I do want to reread this one day. I just don't know when. I just feel like, I think whenever I'm in the mood for something of the topic, I definitely will pick this book up. The next book we have here is The Diary, the definitive edition, the Anne Frank. You guys, I can't obviously read. I definitely am not a booktuber, right? Like, get it together. The definitive edition, Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. So the next book I have here is Nicholas Sparks, A Walk to Remember. I just finished this book last month and I really enjoyed it. It's so cute. I was going to do a wrap up on this book, but I decided not to with all the other books that I read for February because, you guys, I suck at wrap ups, and so now I'm actually doing a different way of doing my wrap ups. And you guys will see it with April's wrap-ups. You'll see the different way that I'm choosing to do my wrap-ups. So yeah, these two books right here obviously go with this. They're like those Hallmark-ish love stories that not everybody enjoys, but I am one of the people that enjoy it. So moving on, we have V.C. Andrews, The Mirror Sisters. I have not read this one yet. I have not read these right here. These actually are, I think there's more to the series. I think there's like another book, if I'm not mistaken, to this series, but I have read these ones right here. My Sweet Audrina and White Fern. These are really creepy, but I really enjoyed them. His writing style in general is like a little creepy-ish, but I still fairly enjoy it. The Flowers in the Attic, I have seen the movie. I have seen these movies before. So yeah, I am pretty sure I will definitely enjoy the books. So they're a little bit weird and creepy, but I am all for it. We have Meet Cute. Some People Are Destined to Meet. This book was really good. Sorry. This book was really good. It was based on like short stories of people's relationships and how they met and stuff like that. So yeah, I read that book last year. So moving on to Divergent, I do want to collect all these books. I don't know, a lot of people might not like the series, but I love the movies. So I definitely want to read the books and get like a full understanding of the world. So I feel like, you know, sometimes obviously the movie is way more shorter than the novel, so I definitely want to read this and see what's missing from the movies. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. So now moving on to Twilight. You guys, everybody should know about Twilight. Twilight's been out for like ever. Same thing. I want to get like a full story, a full backstory of the story. I want to read the books so that way I can get like just a full on history, I guess, I don't know, of the movie, because I've seen all the movies, but like I said, sometimes the movies cut out a lot from the books, so I definitely want to see what the book has that the movie's missing. Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. Ooh, that rhymed. This is another author that I wanted to pick up because a lot of people talk about her books, so I wanted to pick up some books of hers, and Throne of Glass was one of them. I actually did a poll on Twitter, and a lot of you voted for Throne of Glass, and a lot of you voted for A Court of Thorns and Roses. So I just made the executive decision to just get both of them because it was like a tie between the two. So moving along, I have The School for Good and Evil. I picked this one up around after Christmas time, actually. Yeah, after Christmas time. It sounded interesting to me, so that's why I picked it up. Moving on to this one. This one is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. This is the Percy Jackson series. So I picked the first book up. I've seen the 2 movies that are out, so I definitely want to read the books to see, like the same as these, just to see the backstories and get a feel for the world. This one is Aru Shah and the End of Time. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's just how I'm saying it. And this one was by Roshni Chokshi. Yeah, Roshni Chokshi. And this is a signed copy. I actually picked this one up as well from the North Texas Teen Book Festival. I picked this book up because, you guys, when I met her, she was so freaking funny, and I just loved her energy and her personality that I felt like I would want to see if that same energy and personality is in her books. So that's why I picked up said book. Moving along to this one, this is Wildcats by J.P. Harker. This was actually sent to me by the author. He sent this to me last year in June. I read about 100 pages of it, and I want to talk specifically about this book in another video. Yeah, I don't plan on finishing it. Not that it's bad. It's just not for me. It sounds very interesting. It really does, but I've gotten to 100 pages of it and have no desire to want to finish it. Like I said, it's not bad. It's just really not the type of book style that's really for me. I have a very short attention span, and this book is for somebody that loves detailing, and I'm not that person. So here we have is Eliza and Her Monster by Francesca Zappia. This book I really enjoyed. I thought it was so cute. I definitely related to the book 100%. One of my favorite books. So yeah, that is a good one that I think a lot of people should read, but be warned of the triggers. There's some triggers in there about, you know, anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts. Yeah, so be aware of that. Next one we have here, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I have not yet read this book yet. That didn't make sense. I haven't read this book yet. I've seen the movie. I love the movie. I definitely want to read the book, obviously for the same reasons, just to get a full-on backstory of it. Yeah, we have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I don't know, you guys. I'm not good with names, okay? So yeah, we have Red, White, and Royal Blue. I read this book, you guys, in February, and I loved it. I had like one eensy tiny little critic of it, and that's just like the love scenes in it are too brutal for me, you guys. Like, I'm all for we made love till the breaking dawn, but obviously I don't want to like full-on details on how y'all did it. So that was like my only critique about this book, was just like the sex scenes in here are very, very detailed, and I don't want to read about that. I know I'm an adult, but like, why do I want to read about that? You know what I mean? I don't want to know how far it went in. Like, that's just too much for me. So moving on to A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is another Sarah J Maas book that I picked up off your guys' vote. So I don't know much about it at all. Like, I don't know anything about it. So I do plan on reading this book sometime this year. Next we have The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. You guys, I freaking love this book so much. Like, I want to reread it. I love this book so much. As soon as I finished it, I wanted to talk about it to everyone, and I mean everyone. It was just very inspiring, and like, I just don't know. I don't know how to say it. It was just a very emotional book. I literally got a headache reading this book because it took me from being happy to sad to mad, all in one sitting. And yeah, like, who wants to feel all those emotions at once? I did. And yeah, I love the book, and I want to talk about it to everyone who wants to hear about it. If you have planned on reading this book, read it. Like, what are you waiting for? Read it. It's that plain and simple. Read it. Moving on to next book, Nicholas Sparks, Every Breath. This was actually a book that I buddy read with somebody. This is a book that I buddy read with somebody on Twitter. We both really enjoyed the book. We pretty much had the same thoughts about it. Like, we thought it was super cliched, but overall was a really good read, and definitely feel like it's a book that should be read like when you're on vacation and want something quick to read, because that's what that is. Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I think Moyes. That's how I'm gonna say it. I'm done trying to figure out how to say these names. But this was a really good book. This one brought me to tears towards the end. You guys, oh my gosh. You have no idea. Like, I cried like a little tiny baby. But yeah, that's a really good book as well. So if you want to read this book too, like, read it. It's really good. The Book Thief by, I don't know the name, Zuzak. Marcus Zuzak. You can tell it's very like beat up a little bit. I purchased this book at Half Price Books as well. And yeah, I haven't read it. I had planned to read it during the winter time, but I didn't. And yeah, I do want to read this book because a lot of people say a lot of good things about it. I seen the movie but really didn't pay attention to it, which is probably a good thing. So now that I can read the book and get like a full backstory of, or the full history of it. So yeah. Moving on to the bottom shelf and the very last shelf, because I didn't expect this bookshelf tour to be as long as it is. So obviously right here we have one of my kids' books. This is their Elf on the Shelf book. My husband has 2 books that he owns for his music. He's a producer, so that's what he has, you know, to get a little educated on the business side of it. My daughter has these 2 books right here that are hers, and this one as well. So this really is like the books that I want to keep down here are like my graphic novels. Pretty much that's what it is. So I do have a few graphic novels down here. I have Saga, I have Paper Girls. I read the first one and I didn't like it, and I think it's because I like read it in a different state of mind that I should have read it in. So I think I want to give this another go. I do have books 1 and 2. I do have another graphic novel here. That's Rick and Morty. I love that show. That's like mine and my husband's favorite show to watch together. Sorry. And then we have here, these are like one of my absolute favorite childhood books that I've read as a kid. I have other childhood favorites, but I can't find them in stores. I would literally have to order them online, which I plan on doing maybe in the future. I don't know, like order a few of them. But I love these Wayside Story books. Have you guys ever read these in school? If you did, let me know down below. Here we have 2 poetic books, one by Amanda Lovelace, and I forgot who read this one. I loved To Drink Coffee with the Ghost. I loved that one, and I did like Light Filters In. You guys know I'm not really big on poems, poetry books, because it's kind of hard for me to kind of pick up on some of what they're trying to say. Like, you know, like my brain just doesn't work that well, I guess. So sometimes it's kind of hard for me to understand what they're fully like trying to talk about in poetic form, if that makes any sense. But anyways, so the last book I have here is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. I don't know nothing about it. I just got it because I liked the cover, and because it's like a graphic novel. Yeah, you know, yeah, it's a graphic novel, and the artwork in there is really cute, and I just loved it. I just love the cover. And then here we have, this is where I keep my bookmarks, but I also have like these little pins in here and my wireless headphones. But this little container has like bookmarks in there. And then right here, last but not least, I have book sleeves that I have made myself. I did take off some books off my bookshelf, books that I'm gonna like unhaul. I don't know if I'll make a video of it because it's like literally only like 3 books. But yeah, that's it for this book shelf tour. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to shorten it up a bit because it was very long and I talk a lot. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next one.